Raphael Mechoulam isolated the psychoactive compound in cannabis. He has researched cannabis for over half a century. He is regarded as the grandfather of cannabis science.
I had several awards. I got the highest award in Israel, which is called the Israel Prize. I more recently got an award called the Emet Award in Israel, which is given by the Prime Minister. I have awards from quite a few foreign countries, quite a few international societies, the international neuroscience societies and things like that. So I believe that it has been accepted as an important field, especially after we discovered the compounds that the body makes that bind to the cannabinoid receptors in the body. So it opened a field which is of major importance. As a matter of fact, in essentially every disease that has been investigated, the endogenous cannabinoid system is involved in essentially all diseases. I have not heard of any other biological system that is involved in essentially all human diseases. So here we have a system which is of major importance, the endogenous cannabinoid system.
In 2009, Israeli health officials launched what is today the world's largest state-sponsored medical cannabis program. Raw cannabis and cannabis products are dispatched to dispensaries or delivered to patients by courier. New patients go to clinics like the Tikkun Olam Clinic in Tel Aviv to join the medical cannabis program.
Did you take medication?
I try many medications.
We have a great variety of cannabis that can help you, that are rich from CBD, that make you comfortable in the morning, and we have a variety that with high THC to help you to sleep. And we know that the cannabis be able to stop your thought, the continue that what you suffer from. And we started now to find out what kind of variety I would like to serve you. You don't need to inhalate it or to smoke it. You can use it by oil and you can use it by capsules. It's exactly like a medicine, 3 times a day. You can eat it, the capsules.
So this is one of our consultation rooms. Medical cannabis can become an alternative treatment to many medications that are available today. Many of the synthetic medicines that are available are not only harming the people and creating more side effects, which you need more medications for, but they're contaminating the environment. You know, they are released in our urine, they go into the sewage, they go into our underground water. Everything we're going to touch is going to be full of antibiotics and other types of chemicals. So when we look at the world as a whole, we need to support medical cannabis research and enable it to take a better part of the pharmaceutical industry. Because today the pharmaceuticals are not for the people. They are creating medicines for revenue, c'est tout. A lot of the medications that are coming out today, you have a 30% success, a 40% success. That's the maximum. And we're talking about medical cannabis, you can see 95% success, 80%. You can't patent this cannabis. The presence of Professor Meshulam in Israel has enabled us to have support from the medical community, and I think that is an advantage, and that's why Israel is a leader in this field.
Well, this is the laboratory. Because of legal constraints, there was no research in academic institutions. An academic institution is an open place. You cannot have a policeman standing at the door looking at what students are doing. So in most countries, essentially in all countries, there was no research on cannabis. I was not aware of all these things. I just thought, well, here we have a chemical problem. Let's solve the chemical problems. Let's find out what's in there in cannabis. We worked on hashish, smuggled from the Lebanon. I asked the police whether they can give me hashish for research, and they said yes. So I went ahead and picked up the hashish from the police, took the bus with 5 kilos of hashish in my bag. People were kind of smelling some strange smells. They didn't realize what was going on, and I didn't realize actually there's a lot of smell around. But anyway, my colleague Yechiel Gaoni and I started working on those 5 kilos of hashish. We could determine the structure of the compound, and there is a second compound which had been isolated previously, but again the structure was not known, called cannabidiol. It does not cause the well-known cannabis effects, but it has all kinds of other effects. The two together, CBD, cannabidiol, CBD and THC, are the basis of cannabis action.
The cannabis plant contains something like 60 different ingredients. It certainly is effective. The question is whether it is effective on, shall we say, superficial level, which means it reduces pain, it makes the patient, it improves appetite, it makes the patient sleep better and feel better. But inside, the active inflammation just goes on as it did before, or whether it actually reduces the inflammation itself. If you improve quality of life of patients, if they can have less pain and less diarrhea and they sleep well and they can function, that's already a huge benefit. A lot of patients with Crohn's disease and colitis get opiates. If you weigh opiates against cannabis, cannabis is still better. It's much safer than opiates. So even in the worst case scenario, I think cannabis still has a place in treating inflammatory bowel diseases just for the sake of symptomatic improvement. If we manage to prove that it does something to the disease, it will be even better.
The research of Professor Ruth Galili indicates that cannabis is effective for treating inflammation.
The cannabidiol has the ability to inhibit inflammatory reaction. And here you can see it fantastically nice, non-toxic, not expensive, and I believe that this treatment will make the patient that suffer from inflammatory reaction much, much better.
Life-changing. I was unable to get out of bed. I was missing my work days every other day. It was a hard journey to get the license, but it was worth it. Every other drug made me feel horrible. Cannabis is manageable. I choose the amount. I know it's very personal because how you feel is the amount you need to take. Every other side effect that it has, it doesn't compare to what the other conventional drugs can do. There's no physical addiction. I've tried marijuana for long periods of time, so I know the withdrawal, and it's just 3 days tops of lack of sleep and nothing. Nothing like the drugs you are giving by your doctors, nothing. I mean, they are poison. And this is nature, I don't know. To me, it's very obvious.
Here they can have one of the 16 different strains that we provide. They can have capsules and oils. These are pre-rolled cannabis cigarettes. They're made out of unrefined paper, and we provide them in all the different strains just so patients can enjoy a variety. People who are suffering from severe pain or have some kind of attack, if they smoke, they feel the benefit in a few seconds. And when you consume it orally, it can take 20 minutes to an hour and a half to feel the effects. Nowadays, the government decides on the way of consumption, but in the past it used to be patients could take some of their prescription in flowers, some of their prescription in oils. So we have different capsules that we make, we have capsules from the Avidekel strain. They have high CBD and almost no THC. This we recommend usually to the elderly patients, but some patients like to consume them in capsule form. This is especially for the children. It's 1 to 20, 15% CBD. This specific dosage is very effective. It reduces the seizures.
In many cases, this is the only thing that helps. There are epilepsies in young children that cannot be taken care of with the existing drugs. Parents in the US found that giving them medical cannabis with high doses of CBD, very low doses of THC, helps them. In some cases it completely blocks these attacks. Instead of having 20, 30 attacks per day, they have 1 or 2 a week. So they said, we are not interested in doing something illegal. We want this drug in order to help us. So they found what we had already reported many years ago. This is the only drug that helps these very, very sick children. So why not use it?
I started the cannabis when I used to be the head nurse of the patient's nursing home in Kibbutz Na'an, and I started to serve them cannabis. I'm not scared now to become old because of the cannabis. In the beginning I was really scared to become old, but now I'm sure I have the medicine that can support all the kind of symptoms that maybe will be, and I'm more quiet now. When you become old, you suffer from a lot of kind of symptoms, and we found out the cannabis help a lot of kind of symptoms: sleep, appetite, pain, agitation, all kind of agitation because of the dementia. We have beautiful result and minimum side effect. From the history, we didn't found any death on cannabis. Nobody can die from cannabis.
Why is that?
Probably it's because it's belong to our body. It's fit to our body. It's not toxic. You can become maybe confused or tired, but nothing to do with death.
Ever?
Ever.
They decided that it is worthwhile testing cannabis in people that are Alzheimer or Alzheimer-like patients. Some of them started speaking, their eyes became brighter. In one case, an ex-writer started writing again. In another case, a woman said, "I feel fine," and went home. So it seems to be helping the symptoms of Alzheimer or senility, and there is very little that can be done for Alzheimer patients. If it is well researched in the future, we should know how to help these patients.
Most countries in the world have mimicked US federal drug scheduling of cannabis. Schedule I drugs have no medical value and high potential for abuse.
It's baffling. It's completely irrational to have cannabis on Schedule I. We published 35 years ago that cannabidiol is an excellent anti-epileptic drug in adults. So it works. No doubt it works.
Our field is to make sure that people who are suffering from diseases will be able to have access and safe access to good medical cannabis strains, varieties and products, so they can benefit and their quality of life will improve. Other countries are starting to debate. I mean, I hear now that in Australia they've opened medicinal programs and they're coming to acceptance with the fact that there's a whole industry already exists. Hopefully that will happen as well in New Zealand.
I believe that people have to have an opinion and to express it. Just press the parliament people you choose and try to persuade them the importance of the cannabidiol and let them fight for legalization.
Once the United States accepts federally that cannabis is not a Schedule I drug, that will change world policy towards this plant. Everybody's looking towards them and waiting to see when that will happen.
Now in the United States, There are several states that have the permission now to sell it and to give it. See how they change the law and follow it step by step. They succeeded. Why would not you succeed? I don't believe that narrow-minded will improve people's life.